In this video, we're going to look at some of the biggest podcasters on YouTube and what we can learn from them to improve our own podcasts. Keep watching. Hey everyone, it's Caleb from Wondershare. Today, I'm going to talk about the biggest podcasters on YouTube and what I learned from them. Some are controversial.
I didn't think the podcast would create such a controversy, but that's probably poor prior planning on my part.
Some are family friendly.
I love pineapple on pizza. I will eat pineapple on pizza. I actually was raised on pineapple on pizza.
And some consist of barely anything but laughing and extremely loud sound drops.
Yeah, it's a microphone. A microphone.
Either way, by the end of this video, I'll let you know what we can learn from these podcasts to improve our own. Let's go. On the website truelist.com, we can see the leading podcast genres in the US, being comedy and news. This lines up with another graph that shows why people listen to podcasts. They want to learn new things and be entertained. Also, the most used listening apps in the US are Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so that's probably your best option if you're looking for more clicks. The optimal duration for a podcast seems to be from 20 to 30 minutes. I guess it's because this allows the user to stay engaged and entertained without feeling overwhelmed by the length of the podcast. Using these statistics help us understand more what our listener wants, and in turn, helps us keep them engaged. But with literally millions of podcasts in production, why would I watch yours? Okay, so in my opinion, you got your three kinds of podcasts. We got your informational podcasts like Crime Junkie, focusing more on news than drama with other creators. Doing the exact opposite, however, you got your more controversial podcasts, like Joe Rogan or H3H3. And then you got the ones that are pretty much just jokes and sound clips, like Super Megacast or Dynamic Banter. So my first piece of advice is to try and figure out what type of podcast you are. I think most people looking to turn off their brain at the end of a hard day of working way too much aren't looking to get into drama and politics too much. But at the same time, some people love that stuff. Like me. I eat that for breakfast. But the point is, are you a fart sounds podcast or a serious one? Both great options as long as you stick to it. Most podcasts use similar titles to YouTube videos. Some podcasts will simply list the topics they're talking about in the episode, while others will come up with something stupid and eye-catching to maybe make the audience laugh and increase their chance of clicking. Also, naming the episode after you film is obviously nice, because that way you can relate it to something funny that happened in the podcast, or something noteworthy that happened while filming. Alternatively, you could title stuff in a series, like the Stuff You Should Know podcast, with short stuff and selects. This helps the audience know what they're in for every time they click. But possibly the best way to title a podcast would simply be the name of a guest. We all know the biggest podcasts have some pretty popular guests. Comedians, actors, musicians, and public figures that seem pretty much completely unobtainable to someone who's just starting out podcasting. But guests in your podcast can be more than that. On the show Families, H3H3 utilizes this by having his parents as guests on the show. Other shows use more niche guests to pull in audience members as well. For instance, if you want to have a camping podcast, look for any camping channel with any following at all and reach out. Maybe they'll come on your show. Then put the guest's name in the title and boom, you've got some new listeners, even if your guest isn't the president or an A-list celebrity. Even though your average person might not know who YouTuber Steve Wallace is, someone who watches a lot of camping content might be really excited to see a content creator they love in the title. To wrap this up, I think a good podcast should start strong and know its niche from the start. And focus on making titles that have thought put into them. It really matters. Also, that guests are really important, and they can bring a lot of ears to your podcast, even if they don't have massive followings themselves. What creator should my next video be about? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.